today, and we hope that you give her your undivided attention. So thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Actually, it's Tracy Murphy, but that's okay. She talks to a lot of people. So it's nice that you guys all came out. I'm really happy to be here. It's a little chilly, but it's a nice night, as we know it could be a lot colder. And it's a nice turnout. And I wish you guys could see what I see when I look out. I see smiling faces, and considering we're here because of cancer, it's not always smiling faces that you see. And when you're talking about cancer, cancer is it's an ugly word, and more than that, it's a horrible, devastating disease, and it brings fear, it brings depression, it brings darkness. But looking at everybody here, I mean, nobody looks really depressed, nobody looks sad. Everybody's looking like, there's good things happening. And though cancer has its dark side, it also has what one of my lung cancer sisters calls the silver linings, okay? And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I want you guys to know that you guys are silver linings. And that's because silver linings usually are filled with hope, right? You've got the dark clouds, but there's a silver lining, you've got some hope, it's gonna be a nice day later on. Well, you guys bring hope here, and hope for funding for more research for cancer, for more and better treatments, more survivors, and for a cure. Now, hope is one of the things that cancer cannot take away from you. It's kind of like that light in the darkness. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. And, well, to be quite honest, if you don't see that light that bitch up yourself, right? Now, before I get started, I just want to ask you guys a few questions. Is that okay? All right. So, just by a show of hands, have any of you ever been diagnosed with cancer? Okay. Got a couple. Me as well. Now, if you guys, those who raised your hands, keep them up for me, because I want to do a collective thing here. Anybody here who's had an immediate family member, parents, siblings, if you're married, your children have a diagnosis of cancer? All right, there's a few more. Keep those hands up, guys. How about other family members, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins? All right, keep them up. How about people that you might work with, go to school with, your neighbors, just some friends? As I look around, almost everybody's got their hands up. Okay, put them down for a second. Anybody not raise their hand a minute ago? If you did not raise your hand, you don't know anybody who's ever had cancer, raise it now. I don't see anybody. If I missed you, statistics says that pretty soon you will know somebody. So knowing that everybody here pretty much knows somebody who's had cancer, don't you think that maybe it's time that we put a little more effort into eradicating this horrible disease? Now, basically, it starts here with you, okay? You guys are the ones that need to take that hope to the next level and put it into action. Because we could hope for a cure, we could hope for new treatments and more funding for research, but unless we do something, it's not going to happen. Now, the best way to do that is usually go ahead and get to know your opponent, right? I mean, I'm an athlete, and maybe some of you are too, but one of the first lessons I was taught was never fear your opponent. Respect your opponent, but don't fear them, because if you do, you're done. So, in order to go ahead and fight that, you need to know a little bit. So we all know that there's many different cancers out there, right? Everybody knows that. But what do we really know? Let's take a look. Let's find out, shall we? I want you guys to think about the cancer that kills more women each year than any other cancer. Think about that for 1 second. When I count to 3, I want you guys to yell out that cancer. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I heard a lot of ovarian. Anybody say anything other than ovarian? Breast cancer. Anything else? Lung? What was that? All right. There's a lot of cancers out there. Keep those answers. Remember that. Now, I want you to think about the cancer that kills more men than any other cancer out there. You guys got that? Count to 3. Shout out the cancer that kills more men than any other. 1, 2, 3.
Prostate.
All right, I heard colon, prostate. Anything other than colon and prostate?
Pancreatic.
Pancreatic, lung? Good. All right. Now, what is the cancer that kills more people in general, men or women, than any other? Think about it. 1, 2, 3.
Lung.
Skin. What was the other one? Lung. All right, good. All right, so I want you guys to hang on to those. Remember your answers, because we're going to talk a little bit about it and see who was right. Okay? Now, in order to give you guys an idea of who's right, I'm going to tell you a little story. My story. Okay? Now, we all have one, and but this one's mine. So, basically, my story starts on a softball field. Okay, well, at least the relevant part does. I wasn't born there, but when I was about 9 years old, I started playing softball. And, you know, when you start out, your coaches tell you, get in front of the ball, right? You go ahead and you make, get the ball in your glove and you make that play, you throw the ball, right? Well, of course, here I am, 9 years old, learning the game. Ball comes up and it hits a rock or something, takes a bad hop, and it hits me smack in the face. Well, I drop my glove, I bring my hands to my face, I'm crying, I'm standing there, and I'm looking for somebody to come give me some love. I'm hurt. Well, it sure wasn't my dad, because he was in the dugout yelling, "What are you doing? Pick up the ball, make the play, throw it to third." Well, I continue crying, and he continues bursting blood vessels in his forehead because, well, pick up the ball. Well, finally the inning is over, and he's still having a stroke. And I get over there, and he looks at me, and he goes, "What happened? What's going on over there?" I go, "Daddy, I got hit in the face." And he's like, "Yeah?" I said, "Well, it hurt." He goes, "So?" I go, but I'm bleeding." He goes, "But the ball was right there. Nothing was preventing you from picking up the ball and throwing it to third. Your arm wasn't broke." And I'm thinking, who is this man? Where is the love? Where's the kisses? Where's the ice pack that you're going to be okay? Where's my Band-Aid? Anything. No, I didn't get any of that. Well, he explained further, while I was getting ready to hit, that the ball was in front of me. If I don't pick up that ball, it's still in play. The runner's going to keep running. They're going to score, and we're going to lose the game. He asked, "Do you want to lose?" Well, hell no. I didn't want to lose. So he says, "Well, then you've got to pick up the ball, make the play, and cry later." That's how it's done. And it's then that the light bulb went off, and I said, "Oh, well, that sucks. I can get hurt, and I still have to do this. All right, fine." Well, I learned to do that, and probably a little too well. Years went by, and you get hit, you pick up the ball, things are happening. I even, after several years, broke my ankle in a playoff game in the third inning and continued playing because I had to make the play and cry later. I mean, we'd forfeit if we were down another player. Not saying it was the smartest thing to do, but you guys get the idea. You make the play. I used that make the play, cry later for everything. Whether it was when I was divorced with 2 kids, working 3 jobs and going to school, and coaching their teams. Maybe getting an hour of sleep a night. And I'd be up, after being up constantly, no sleep, writing a term paper, thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. And then, no, make the play, cry later. You got to get through this. You can sleep on the weekend, right? So I use that for everything, including the fight for my life. See, I'm a cancer survivor, and what happened to me, again, the pivotal point in this story, again on a softball field. I think we got a pattern here. But I was coaching my daughter at this time, and I felt this horrible pain in the back of my leg, in my calf. And I thought, well, you know, this isn't good. Maybe I just pulled a muscle or something. I mean, what could it possibly be? And after a few days, it got worse. I couldn't put any weight on it. So I went to the ER, went in there and told the triage nurse, I said, you know, something's wrong with my leg. It really, really hurts, but I have no idea what I did to it. And she goes, well, did you bang it? Well, if I did, I'd know what was wrong, right? Well, after some testing, we found out I had a couple of blood clots. No reason for it. There was, you know, I wasn't smoking at the time. I wasn't on a long trip. I wasn't on, you know, any kind of birth control or anything else. And I said, well, you know, it happens. Okay. Sent me home with some blood thinners, and about 2 months later, I had a pain, you know, in the front of my neck, right here. It felt like you know, when you sleep funny, but in the front. So I knew it wasn't, you know, it wasn't that. Again, after a few days, I'm trying to get up out of bed, and I couldn't lift my head up. Had to literally pull my head up with my hands. I knew something was really wrong, so I, you know, said, get me to the hospital. I get there, and I'm sitting in the room, and the doctor comes in, and he looks at me and goes, so what brings you in here today? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm crying, by the way. I said, I can't hold my head up. My neck hurts really bad. And he looks at my neck and says, so are you sexually active? Well, not in my neck. I mean, I'm not a pro, but I think I know what I'm doing. I've had a little practice. So he says, all right, well, you know, we're going to go get a CT scan. Okay. I said, all right, great. By that time, my father was called. He actually worked at the hospital. We were at Highland Park, North Shore, representing right over there. So we went in there, and my father comes, and they did the CT scan, and he comes back, and he says, hey, we found out what's wrong with your neck. And I'm like, oh, great. He says, you've got a large blood clot in your carotid artery. I'm like, what? How can I have a blood clot? I'm on blood thinners, and I'm getting all bent out of shape. He goes, calm down, you've got a blood clot in your carotid artery. He goes, but this is great news. Great news? Where'd you graduate medical school? I've got a blood clot in my carotid artery. He goes, no. It's alerted us to the fact that you've got lung cancer. I went, lung cancer? Well, why wouldn't I? You know? I mean, that was my first thought because, well, it runs in my family. Yes, lung cancer can run in your family. And my second thought was, well, what are we going to do about it? And my dad looked at me and goes, did you not hear the man? I go, yeah. Now we got to do something. I was in my make the play mode. I couldn't stop to freak out. If I freak out, they're going to keep running. I need to make that play. So, as I said, you know, of course, I started treatment. And a lot of my friends, you know, they were freaking out. You know, I was stage 3B, non-small cell lung cancer. I was 39, so definitely not an age you think about lung cancer, right? And so, you know, my friends were losing their minds. Why aren't you freaking out? They'd ask me. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to lay down and curl up in a little ball and cry it out? That's just going to weaken me. You can't cry when the other team has got a few more runs on you than you do. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in cancer. You can't, I mean, well, there is, but you can cry and make the play at the same time, okay, if you've got to. I did that too. But, you know, you've got to be strong. You've got to get your mindset, and that was my thing. I turned into the athlete. I was on the field. I was playing the big game. And that's how I got through that. But my, like I mentioned, I have family who has had lung cancer before me. My grandfather, he died of lung cancer in 1975. My mother was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2002. She was given a 15% chance of making it to surgery and almost no chance of making it a year. But she said, no, I'm going to be in that 15%, and then I'm going to continue living. And she did. She made it 12 years cancer-free before it came back, and well, she beat it again. And a year after that, it came back again, and this time it brought reinforcements, and it ended up taking her. She ran out of time. September 4th of last year, so it's been 8 months. So this is my first Mother's Day without her, but doing these things, this is my silver lining. I lost my mom, but I get to be up here and talking to you guys and helping other survivors. So the lung cancer is not a gift. I mean, if it was, I'd return it. But it has given me gifts that I would have never had the opportunity to experience. I have, like I said, I survived for a reason. I was given a 35% chance of making it to remission and only a 5% chance of making it a year. I'm sorry, 5 years. 5% chance of making it 5 years. And July 12th of this year will be 8 years. So very lucky.